players wear safety equipment that we assume helps protect them from the direct person-to-person contact that we love to watch. How many of you have family members that love to play football? Imagine being at one of their games, watching them from the bleachers. Your loved one has the ball, and they are running down the field, and bam, they get hit. The other player's helmet collides with theirs, and they go down. This happens in every play during the game, in every game, but this time, it's different. Your loved one is lying on the field, and they are not moving. It is later determined that their football helmet was not a proper fit, and they have suffered a concussion. I have two boys that both currently play football, one being in his first year of college and the other one in junior high school. I personally cannot imagine seeing my child lying on a cold field because his body was not properly protected. Because of this fear, I do not want to exclude my children from an activity just because of a risk of injury. Instead, I have chosen to properly educate myself and them in hopes to prevent the possibility of serious injury. I have done extensive research in hopes to educate myself and them on the dangers of concussions and other head-related injuries concerning football and proper safety precautions concerning helmet use. In my research, I have found that there have been numerous deaths related to head injuries and long-term mental and physical traumas due to improper fit and designs of football helmets. New rules are being made to monitor football players after experiencing head trauma. The first football helmet was created in 1893 by an Annapolis shoemaker for the Army-Navy football team. The football helmet was only made out of 3 leather straps. It was held together and called a head harness. Helmets were not even mandatory until 1930. It wasn't until 1940 that the improvements were made to the design where padding was added. Helmet designs have evolved from the original designs with more strict safety designs. According to Forbes.com, helmets are designed to distribute impact across the helmet and take more pressure off the point of contact. Helmets are meant to be snug, not tight, not suffocating. When you fit a helmet improperly, you damage the integrity of the safety features. Many coaches have the understanding that the tighter that the helmet fits, the more it will protect your player's head. When the helmet is too tight, you compromise its ability to distribute impact for the interior to move with the head as it is designed to do. Today's helmets are to be fit specifically to each individual player by equipment managers and training staff to ensure proper fit. Players will suffer fewer concussions with a properly fitting helmet. A concussion is a temporary unconscious or headache, dizziness, or forgetfulness due to a severe blow to the head. There are 2 specific forces that contribute to concussions: linear and rotational acceleration. Linear acceleration is a straight line force that begins at the point of contact, causing a skull fracture. Rotational acceleration occurs during angular impacts or those which in force is not detected at the brain's center of gravity. Because most hits are off-centered, and because our heads are not square, most accelerations to our head are rotational. According to Tom Foster in his article, "The New Football Helmet Could Save the Sport," athletes in the United States suffer 3.8 million sports-related concussions each year, with professional football players receiving as many as 1,500 hits to the head in one single season, depending on their position. 15,000 hits is what a player will suffer in a 10-year playing career. These statistics do not include any blows to the head that may have been suffered in college, in high school, or even at the Pee Wee football level. Riddell has developed a helmet, the 560, that is supposed to lower the risk of concussion. The 560 has added material to the front side impact areas. The dimensions of the helmet were increased to allow for more padding. Concussions are not the only danger associated with head injury. Continuous concussions can lead to a fatal disease in athletes called CTE. Chronic endocardiopathy is a degenerative brain disease found in athletes that receive a severe head trauma. Research led by Dr. Anne McKee for the National Institute of Health wrote in a journal, The Neuropathy of Sport. In CTE, a protein called tau forms clumps that slowly spread throughout the brain, killing brain cells. She concluded that a person can only 100% be diagnosed only after death through brain tissue analysis. Symptoms of this horrible disease don't usually appear until years after the onset of head injuries. Early symptoms appear in patients' late 20s or 30s. Common changes in a person suspected of suffering from CTE include impulse control, aggression, depression, and paranoia. That's in the early stages. In the later stages, one would suffer cognitive symptoms such as memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment, and eventual dementia. These symptoms usually don't appear to the late 40s or 50s. Most people who are diagnosed with CTE have suffered hundreds or even thousands of head impacts. 200 plus cases have been reported involving professional tackle football players, with primary causes being hits to the helmet. Athletes who begin playing earlier are at a greater risk of developing CTE, usually those starting at the age of 12 or younger. Nobody has the cure-all answers or how to make football a safer sport. Better designs of helmets are a good start, and training needs to be implemented on the correct way to wear them and needs to be practiced by all playing the sport. Educating players from the time they start playing will contribute to safer practices and will help care better for those already suffering from concussions and CTE. Those who love to watch and play football need to make safety just as important as watching and playing the game that so many of us love.